Good morning and welcome to BBA's webinar on Every Bank Communicates, Few Connect, what the most effective and successful banks do differently in partnership with the associate member Spitch. Today, to discuss the current and future role of speech analytics in banking, I'm delighted to be joined in this hour by Martin, Vadim and Ravi from Spitch. Just before I hand over to Martin, I'd like to invite you to participate in the webinar in two ways. Firstly, by asking questions, and secondly, by participating in delegate polls. If you have a question for the panel, you can wait until the end, but given the number of attendees that we have on this webinar, you can ask a question at any time by simply clicking on the black Ask a Question button on your screen, which is located underneath the presentation. Please note that when you ask a question, your name or your organization is not disclosed to other webinar attendees. We would also like to invite you to participate in Ask the Audience polls. To participate in the polls, a pop-up box with the question will appear on your screen. Simply answer the question in the box and click OK. We intend to present for 40 minutes and then answer your questions for the remaining 20 minutes. Martin, over to you.
Thank you, Philip. At the beginning of the webinar, let me first introduce to you the people who will be talking to you. There will be basically three people talking to you. It's myself, Martin Podradsky. I'm managing the Speech UK and Ireland business. And I will be talking to you. I will walk you through the customer experience management with regards to speech analytics and our speech analytics vision 2020. Then it will be Vadim who will be talking you through the speech technology trends and our roadmap to Vision 2020. And finally, it will be Ravi who will be talking you through few use cases related to the customer experience management, omni-channel, voice channel management, fraud and risk management, all with focus on the financial services industry. And now let me talk a few words about agenda and housekeeping. We will be happy to answer any questions you may have either online or offline. There will be about 10 or 15 minutes devoted at the end of this webinar for Q&A session. But if you have any hot question, you can ask in the flow of the presentation. But preferably also, there are our emails on the slide, and they will be also provided at the end on the end slide. And you can also find our contact details at the BBA speech website. So we're more than happy to answer them offline. This presentation will be available via the BBA webpage later on. And there will be also after webinars comms provided by BBA. Actually, it just happened that there is a newer version of the presentation, so we will get then afterwards a newer version of the presentation. We just didn't manage to upload it as of now for this session. Let me move to the next slide. And a brief introduction, a very high-level introduction to our business and our main focus. Speech provides advanced speech data technologies to drive intelligence services. This is what we believe we are good at and we are focusing on in order to provide these cutting-edge technologies, having in mind business value to our targets and customers. And we deliver it either via software engines that can be integrated and embedded in almost any third-party solution, or via end-to-end engagements and solutions. Let me then now skip to an introduction slide. We were thinking about how to introduce in the best and most efficient way our Vision 2020 with regards to speech analytics, and arrived at the conclusion that this simple picture would be the most explanatory introduction. You have there 2 dates, 2 pictures, and if you don't mind to put in your head, in your mind, the dates and with the pictures together. And I am almost sure that you did it in the following way. And just a few words about what this picture means. 2016, a contact center when humans are utilizing technology, the communication lines, the computers, the software, CRM and other software systems that provide info and some insight about the customer, provide these communication scripts and the knowledge base and tools that are using during the call. So 2016, nowadays, the contact center operated by humans with support of the technology. 2020, the situation is going to be different. It's going to be a communication hub or contact center where technology-based systems are interacting with humans via voice, utilizing system and technology implemented and managed by humans. It doesn't mean that the humans will be not presented at all in the contact center, but they will be presented in majority. How large or small is the majority will be given by the technological landscape, by how advanced is the organization who is managing and running the contact center, by industry, marketplace, and many other factors. Originally, we were thinking to provide you with a short video that will introduce our Vision 2020, but due its size, we decided that you will be provided with a link to that video in the after webinar comes. And now, let me talk you through our one slide Vision 2020. Of course, the whole vision is much larger, but we were trying to put it in one slide to describe our way of thinking and what we are expecting. As you can see on the left-hand side, there are the main principles that are going to be presented in the Vision 2020. Interaction will follow the same workflow regardless which channel is used. Voice, mobile, internet, even branches. Most contact centers will be fully automated or fully partially automated by 2020. And the most important is that the majority of all necessary technologies, algorithms, computing capacity, communication infrastructure is ready for use as of now. On the right-hand side, there are a few principles that will be utilized in the technology behind Vision 2020. I'm not going to read all of them, but you can read them all by yourself, or then later on when you will get the offline copy of the presentation. There are also a few comments about the customer satisfaction. The customer satisfaction will improve, NPS will grow, sentiment analysis will be used, and also continuous machine learning. Machine learning is important factor that is also presented in our solution and will be also supporting the Vision 2020. And let me move to the next slide. Few words. What is important when considering speech analytics? This is based on our experience and input from the marketplace, either from our clients, partners, or advisors, and this is how we usually are approaching our engagements. It's important to mention that in our opinion, there isn't any magic out-of-the-box solution, but the best results is achieved by tailored and bespoke solution that will utilize available client data set, best practices, and available experience. We are usually proposing and offering engagement to work closely with our clients to address the needs and requirements, and can provide the solution with agreed accuracy and functionality. It's also important to consider whether a solution is real-time or near real-time or offline. Usually, a real-time solution can provide with better value for money and can be used offline too. Low cost, low TCO, client-friendly pricing. I think this is self-explanatory, doesn't need to talk through. And as this is quite new technological area, it's important to be able to implement it using phased approach in a controlled manners. So the stakeholders and the project participants can control the process and assess the outcomes on almost a permanent basis, weekly or twice in a week or once in 2 weeks. Usually we are able and proposing to engage, and it seems to be appreciated and often required where to introduce such solutions as we are discussing now on proof of concept based approach, where we can provide with quick wins and in relatively short term to prove the concept and the value. And now we are approaching the first poll question, and I will hand over to Philip, who will introduce how to vote and what to do with the technology.
Okay, so the first question that we want you to ask, and you simply just need to click on the most suitable answer on the pop-up screen. And the first question, as you see it here, is: do you plan to use any innovative technologies for improving customer experience management in 2016? So it should be on your screen shortly, and you can click either A, B, C or D. So the question again: do you plan to use any innovative technologies for improving customer experience management in 2016-2017? Okay, thanks very much for that. We'll just publish those shortly. Okay, should come on the screen shortly. Martin, Vadim, do you want to just give some feedback on those results there?
Yes, we can see only few organizations are using the speech technologies, but a large amount is ready for implementation, 27%. Yeah, the majority are reviewing different options, and only small amount is also not interested. So what this poll is telling me that either such technologies are in the implementation phase or are being implemented, or the organizations are reviewing what would be the best way forward. And perhaps webinar like this will be able to enable some way of thinking for organizations who are not sure where to go and what can be done with technologies or with advanced analytics technologies.
Does that surprise you, the results, that over 50% are now reviewing different options to implement speech analytics? Does that surprise you?
No, it doesn't surprise me at all, and that's the feedback we are getting usually. Before we meet with people and before we talk them about what is possible nowadays and what are the options provided by the technology, they simply don't know. That's why they are reviewing anything else. But after they got introduced, once they have information about what is possible, what are the use cases, what are the benefits, they usually turn to think about how to implement at least a part of what we are talking today.
Okay, good.
Thank you. So we would like to hand over now to Vadim, who will be talking about the technology trends.
Yeah, thank you, Martin. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us today. What I'm talking about today is speech analytics technology trends, and let me start by mentioning the brief historical reference and trying to answer the question, why now? Perceptions about customers' communication have changed massively for the last 3 years. A breakthrough in the field of speech analytics happened in 2012 when the results of speech recognition using neural networks were first obtained. Before this, speech recognition had been used as a gadget or on very narrow vocabularies for particular tasks. Real-time speech recognition had been able to run on maximum 150,000 words, and the accuracy hardly reached 70%. The power of neural networks allows to run speech recognition in real time on 5 or 7 million words vocabularies and to increase accuracy to 75–78%. Thus, the new age of speech analytics began. But there is not much business value in simple speech-to-text recognition. The real business need other tools. First of them is semantic interpretation. This kind of solution lets us predict what customer speech means. Imagine that we are developing a solution for natural language IVR for telecom call center. The IVR should steer customer calls to the agent responsible for different issues based on the topic of customer call. The key challenge is that real people most often talk about their issues not in the particular words that we expect to hear. For example, somebody can report internet connection fault speaking, I can't upload photo to Instagram. The objective of semantic interpretation is to steer this call to the agent responsible for internet faults, although a customer didn't say internet or fault. The next is sentiment analysis that allows to measure customer satisfaction and or agent quality by the conversation. The simplest way is to count particular sentiment-related words in the conversation, awesome, awful, and etc., and to make a prediction based on the set of the words that had appeared in the conversation. However, the best way is to take into account non-verbal features from the conversation as well. For example, hesitation, pauses, tone changing, and so on. The third is using the data extracted from the customer conversation in big data analysis. So we can call it audio data mining. Everybody says that they operate with big data to analyze customers' behavior. Audio records of customers' conversation in call centers are one of the largest sources of this data. As well as other analytic areas, we can extract verbal and non-verbal features from the customer speech to predict, for example, customers' readiness to buy something. And finally, let's have a look at the voice biometric. This kind of solution allows us to enroll a voice print from customer speech and next call to compare current voice with the voice print stored and predict if the customer is genuine or fraudster. There are two approaches to speaker verification. The first is password phrase verification. In this case, they enroll a voice print and then compare it with the voice using the same phrase. The other one is a free speech verification, when they can enroll voice print and then compare it using whatever words and phrases. Let's go further and have a look how it works. All solutions in speech analytics are based on machine learning approach. Deep learning, deep neural networks are used for acoustic model, recurrent neural networks for lingual development. Support vector machine and other classification algorithms are used for semantic interpretation and sentiment analysis. All algorithms are born in university labs. Nobody from the industry conducts deep math research in-house, even Google and Apple. Everybody waits for new outcomes, sometimes new breakthroughs, from university labs specialized in computer linguistics. The most known are Cambridge University, where the first speech recognition solution was developed 20 years ago, Johns Hopkins University, and Zurich University. The competition in speech analytics solution industry refers mainly how fast and how carefully the supplier implements the latest algorithm in their solution. This looks too good to be true, and in a way it isn't. The key challenge of speech analytics, as well as in other machine learning based solution, is the data. The best solution that uses the best algorithm will not work properly if we try to deploy it solid from a box. Let's talk about how to get the result corresponds to expectation of speech analytics project. In general, a speech analytics implementation project is always bespoke and customer tailored. First, we need to adjust acoustic model using real customers' data. Every supplier trains their acoustic model on wide range of data, but the characteristics of particular customer call center are unique. A lot of parameters affect the performance of acoustic model. Codecs used in call center PBX, a channel of customer call, mobile or landline, the acoustic environment during the conversation, a customer could call from the street, from home, from a car, and so on. And the acoustic model really works better if it trained on the same mixture of calls. The next step is to adjust the linguere on domain-specific text. There is not any speech recognition solution that works with high accuracy on spontaneously speech. Even Google trained their voice internet search recognition on the domain of internet search queries. In some cases, it is easy to collect domain-specific data. In some cases, it's not. Let's imagine that we would like to adjust our speech recognition system for credit card long number dictation. This is a tricky problem because real people do not say the long number uttering one digit after another. They say 00, 777, and so on. Furthermore, when you recognize 2563, does it mean 2563 or maybe 205,603? If customers say 2563. The best way to improve performance is to train linguere on domain of long number dictation. But PCI DSS rules prohibit anybody to record conversation when the customer dictates credit card long number. Now, what do? There is a solution. We can use crowdsourcing platform like Amazon Mechanical Turk to collect samples of how the real people dictate credit card long numbers. We obviously should use synthetic but valid long numbers for this. This is only one example how tricky approaches that are we using to solve one problem or another. Once again, each project of implementation speech to improve your business is an art rather than craft. And finally, usually the same problem could be solved one way or another. The best practice is to go from simple to complex, improving the system performance on the way. For example, as I have mentioned, there are two ways to evaluate customer satisfaction given the audio records of conversation. First is to extract particular words. The other is to train machines predict the customer satisfaction score by whole conversation, include non-verbal features. Usually they listen and evaluate not more than several hundreds conversations per month. So we have lack of conversation manually annotated with customer satisfaction score. It could take up to 6 or 8 months to collect enough data to train the sentiment model. But you are able not to wait until this happens and begin to work with the solution that uses keyword, and then go further step by step, improving the system performance as fast as data collection goes. So let me finish about speech recognition technology trends, and Martin.
Let's move to the question number 2.
Yeah. Philip.
Okay, question number 2. What is the most promising area for deploying speech analytics and voice biometric solutions for banks, in your opinion? So question number 2 again, which is on your screen now. What is the most promising area for deploying speech analytics and voice biometric solutions for banks, in your opinion? Okay, thank you for that. Just publish those. Gentlemen, your thoughts on that. So we've got a 40% say improvements of security and prevention of fraud by customer voice verification. 40% again improvements of client experience, i.e. better quality of services, less waiting time, and 20% see it as cost saving in contact centres, thanks to the reduced average call handling.
Yeah, thanks to everyone for voting, and it's not anything new to us. What it's telling us, it's based on the experience we collected so far. For people, it's more important the business value, the functionality behind, than actually the cost or the cost efficiency achieved. So you can see 40% improvements of security, 40% improvements of client experience, and only 20% cost saving. So it's telling us that people are more interested in the functionality and the use cases delivered, the business support, than the cost saving.
Which is positive, isn't it?
It's absolutely positive, and it's right, because the cost efficiency will come anyway, because as you know, the price of commodity hardware and software is falling down, but the functionality is the most important, what is driving our business.
Brilliant. Thank you, everyone. Martin.
Moving over now, my name is Ravi Mahadio, Sales Manager for Spitch for the UK and Ireland. I'm just going to be covering off the application area. This basically means use cases and, more importantly, examples. When we're looking at technology, it's sometimes how we interact. We introduce this technology. It's quite interesting, going back to the first question that we asked, 57% of companies are actually still in the engagement role at the moment, whereby you've got quite a large percentage of 27% who have actually introduced this technology. So, you know, there's 50% who's behind where we need to be, more importantly. There's a survey that was done, 86% of people, customers would pay more for a product that provides better service. So service seems to be quite key to a lot of people as opposed to anything else. If you look at brands such as Apple, for instance, people buy Apple products all the time. Not many of them engage or use all of the functionality, but it's a brand that's in at the moment, basically. We can move over to the slides, which is the examples of use cases. Again, it goes back to, it's the idea of the technology making life easier, taking away the mundane tasks, but making sure that it's covered and implemented correctly, more importantly. Think about it, where technology could be improved to take out wasted man hours or boring repetitive tasks that people don't want to be doing, and how we can get our staff to be engaged with our customers more productively and proactively. This is an example for customer satisfaction here, CEM. It's an invaluable opportunity for any company to interact with their customers, may it be through a questionnaire or whatever it may be. NPS is a way of measuring customer satisfaction. It's been linked with questions that can help businesses with their KPIs. More importantly, it can help to measure loyalty and build customer relationships. At the moment, technology seems to take over and there's not much human interaction. This is a good way to not only embrace the technology, but embrace the technology with the human side of things as well. Also a strong link with NPS and business growth and Isn't that what we want, more importantly? On the slide, we've got the post-event survey, so what comes of these results that we look at. A good thing to pick up from, if you look at the objective slide, there's the reduced average contact time, cost savings. Not necessarily looking at the cost side of things, more importantly, it's the interaction time with the customer itself. Not everyone wants to sit on the phone for 20, 30 minutes. If they have the time, fantastic, but if they don't, let's be concise with what we're doing and doing things in a more fluid type of fashion. If we look at the speech solution, it's a continuous machine, continuous learning, continuous improvement, and more importantly, accuracy to the business. These are all traits that all businesses want to improve and engage with. This is an easy way to do it. More importantly, if we look at the results, it's the ability to receive actual customers' opinions. Now, how many businesses don't want to interact with their customers? How many businesses don't want to actually understand where the customer's thinking from? May it be positive or negative. Negative things can be addressed. If they're not addressed, attrition's a problem for companies where the customers will just go elsewhere. It's engaging with the customer, but a continuous engagement, as opposed to we've got the information that we want, move on to the next thing. This can be an ongoing thing whereby companies can actually engage and also develop new things moving forward. In the arena of banking, financial services, insurance, etc., a key issue or a key responsibility is the side of the fraud and the risk management side of things. Steps ahead of the fraudsters, that's always the way to overcome these things, unfortunately. There's automated speaker verification available. The technology is here now. It's a way to get ahead of the crowd. More importantly, put yourself ahead of it. How many customers like to be talking to people and have to remember their mother's maiden name or their pet's that's passed away, basically their name? This is an easier way to do it, whereby it actually samples the voice itself of the individual and moves it forward. If we look at the automated speaker verification side of things, the objective of it is to improve the operational service and fraud management. Now, from a compliance side of things, it's something to be looked at all times when you're implementing anything and the operation and the day-to-day runnings of things. This can help you with that, whereby samples could be pulled off, it could be reviewed, and then put back into the real world. Again, it reduces the average call time. Again, the interaction, the engagement, it's a lot more speedier. We live in a very fast world now and people want to be engaged very quickly. This is a quick way of doing that and helping solve solutions and moving forwards with this. Customer identity determined during the course of a natural conversation. Again, it's literally you speaking as you would do and the technology taking over from this. So it's an easy interaction. So may it be an elderly customer that doesn't quite understand technology or someone who doesn't enjoy technology, this is an easy way to overcome those objections and make things a lot more transparent and a lot more fluid for them. Also, the verification and completed in seconds without called interruptions. Again, it's the technology coming in place here to help and solidify and make things a lot more fluid for you. If you look at the results, things I think they literally speak for themselves. 93% of clients scored at 9 out of 10 for the voice authentication system. So, like anything, it's not completely bulletproof, but 9 out of 10, you can't really go wrong with it. And more importantly, it's another step with regards to technology to enhancing and safeguarding your details or your customers' details, more importantly. Some 90% reduction in complaints regarding security and service. I mean, sometimes with regard to that figure, people complain because they don't understand what's happening on the conversation with them. This way, not only are complaints being reduced, but also the security side of things are being embedded and looked after 100%. I'll now pass over to Philip, where we get a bit of interaction with yourselves for the third and final poll question.
Okay, thanks, Ravi. Question number 3. In which business areas do you consider using speech analytics? So question number 3, which will come up on your screen now. Which business areas do you consider using speech analytics? Okay, thank you for your answers. Response should be coming up soon. So 50% of you said retail and 50% said private and wealth management. Martin, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's, I think, very valid information, because for the wholesale, you don't usually use the speech analytics communication channels that often. Yeah, retail and private banking and wealth management, 50-50. That's fair, I think. Probably in real life, retail more, because retail is having more customers, but it also depends on the voters, what is the split of participation in this webinar. But I think this is fair interpretation of who is looking for such technology and who will benefit from such technologies.
And we're certainly seeing that with a number of larger member banks at the BBA using voice biometrics and that technology, and certainly the bigger banks are using that with segments of their clients and their customers. Do you see that trend continuing now?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, it's not only the bank who are using the biometrics, for example, but also telcos, large contact center operators, large retailers. All of them are starting to use the biometrics. Not everyone successfully, but it's a question of technology and the implementation techniques behind. But the value is there, and it's. I think it speaks for itself. It provides not just improvement of the customer experience management, but also this very some additional advantages. And for the wealth management, I think it's also a question of time, and companies like I don't know, Fidelity or Aviva or the big giants who are actually dealing with retail customers to some extent will start to utilize such technologies. But the momentum is now on the retail banking side more than.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Okay. Short view of call center 2020.
Also, moving on with the best practices. Also, just picking up with what Martin said with regards to the final question there. Interesting with retail and wealth management. Both of those engage a lot with their customers. It's a good channel, it's a good opportunity. Why not embrace the technology whereby you could interact a lot better, clearer, succinct, and actually plan what you're doing with your customers on a regular basis with enhancing this new technology? Following up with the banking biometrics security, a poll took 45% of customer satisfaction increased when perceived time saved. So people want to be interacting, but they want to be interacting in a concise and clear way, as opposed to having to answer numerous questions before they could even get to where they need to. Most scenarios, clients interact with banks required client identification. Clients find lengthy and off-putting. I mean, the amount of times that I've personally phoned up a bank and asked a very basic question, and I've got to go through the security, that's about 5 minutes of the call taken up already, and it doesn't give a lot of time. Just going through the slides quickly there, just picking up on the speaker verification. It could be embedded on the front end of the application. Also, a survey took recently, 7 out of 12 banks answered, were asking with regard to tax savings for customers. Call centres weren't actually bringing up their staff and training them for ongoing developments. With regard to the front-end application side of things, it's taking away the questions all the time, and it's basically picking up on the person's voice and moving it forward from there. But again, the slide gives that information for you. I'll move over to Martin and Vladim to finish off now.
Okay, thank you. And now let's move into the last slide.
Yeah. And, what about new technologies? No one can predict what innovations will be discovered in the future, but we can try to imagine how it will be. They said that the first driverless car will be allowed on Britain's motorways next year. The first trials are expected to be carried on the road in Bristol, Coventry and Greenwich this year. And they said that all motorways in the UK will be allowed for driverless car in 2020. George Osborne told about it in the budget in March. If we'll see the vehicles without drivers on the road, why do not we assume that we will see health call centers without agents? It's not fantastic. It's reality. And briefly, what can I say about how to go to this? Yeah, first issue is start to use it where there will not be wars. Nothing so annoying customer as the request to wait 3 minutes because all agents are busy. So you can steer the call to the machine answering in this case. It really will not make things worse. Try to do it. Try to make it. We have almost all technologies ready for this, and I think till 2020 about 90% of customer calls are answered by machines.
Thank you, Vadim. We will be, as we discussed earlier, we will be more than happy to answer any other questions offline or through the Q&A session, which is starting basically now.
So I think that what we'll do now is that you can ask the panel any questions by just clicking the black button, the black Ask a Question button, which is underneath the presentation screen there. And I think we've got a couple of questions coming in right now there. And we mentioned Google, Apple, and various times. How does technology differ from one used at Apple's, Siri, or Google's now?
Let's start with the first question. How your technology is integrated with front-end user interface? And I will ask Vadim to answer this question.
Yeah. Speech provides with a back-end solution. It's the best practice not to bring new front-end application when you deploy speech analytics. It doesn't make sense to install new application for your call center agent or for your customer experience management desktop because we can provide the backend solution and integrate to existing call management system or CRM and so on. In case of customer experience management, there is not only speech analytics data using for customer experience. It's also maybe email, social networks, and website trips. So we need to add the audio speech analytics data into the existing system as well. As for mobile application, speech provides with SDK, with software development kit to implement all range of the analytic solution, include speech recognition, semantic interpretation, and speaker verification into existing mobile application the easiest way. Hope it helps.
Thank you. Then let's take the next question. You mentioned Google, Apple, and so on various times. So how does your technology differ from the one used at Apple's Siri or Google's now? Well, this is a very good question, because sometimes it's perceived that it's the same. It's not. And the simple reason is that, first of all, the audience is very different. The technology and the implementation of the technology is different, and the outcome is different. while Apple, for example, Google are focusing on mass products, which is used in gadgets, we are focusing on enterprise solutions, which is focused on clients' problems or clients' use case in a specific way. So we are building the solution around clients' business, around clients' data, and using the, let's say, high-tech and most advanced technology that is usually difficult to be implemented for mass market. We are achieving high accuracy and the exact functionality which is required. I'm not talking about robustness and business continuity, etc., etc. That's a must for our solution. But it's a different solution for different audience, in simple words, the answer.
Okay. Vadim, do you want to pick up the next question? Does the solution pick up tone of voice as well, i.e. able to identify complaints? That's a very important aspect. FCA, quite rightly so, is very hot on complaints, with legislation coming in next month for British banks to comply with new regulatory requirements around complaints. So does the solution pick up tone of voice to identify complaints?
Yes, obviously, as I mentioned before, the speech analytics can extract non-verbal features from the customer speech. And tone is one of the non-verbal features could be extracted. We can extract, for example, gender, age, nationality, hesitation, pauses, and also tone changes during the conversation. It's all available, but as all the speech analytics stuff, it depends on data provided. If we have data annotated with tone characteristics, we can train our machine to predict next conversation via this training process. Yeah. Thank you. Hope it helps.
Okay, we've got another question coming in, and please do keep questions coming on. This person was very interested in the idea of mining call recordings for sentiment analysts. How mature is this capability, and what are the current success rates, and do we need to have high volumes of contact to make this valuable?
Yeah. Thank you for this question. It's a normal question for speech analytics industry. What is the accuracy? All this depends on data provided. For example, for semantic and sentiment analysis, for proof of concept, we need at least about 60,000 of customer conversation manually annotated with sentiment scores. For operation, it depends on the outcomes of proof of concept, but for operation, I think we need more, maybe 100,000, maybe more. But 60,000 of customer conversation is the least amount to reach the accuracy. And the rate of accuracy, it strictly depends on data and of business area and so on. I can say 70, I can say 80, but it all depends on the area. And first we need to listen 10 or 20 conversations from your side. Then we'll provide you with information how many data we need and what scores of prediction, accuracy prediction could be. But first we need to listen and to understand the use case. No common recipes, no common outcomes in this area.
And I can see there are a few questions now coming about the Swiss banking marketplace, and I would like to ask Vadim to answer this one. It's going to answer probably other question here too. There are a few Swiss banks presented on this webinar. Can you share with us how do you support Swiss marketplace? What languages do you support for Switzerland? How do you support security and privacy, data confidentiality for private banking? And how do you support Swiss payments, Swiss slips processing?
Yeah, thank you for this question. Our headquarters is in Zurich. We are a Swiss-based company, and so we enrolled last year. We enrolled Swiss German. What is interesting, Speech is the only company provides Swiss German on the market. Google and Apple do not provide Swiss German. If you try to use Google Maps with a geo search query in Swiss German, you haven't got appropriate result. And it was a tricky challenge because the Swiss German is another language, not dialect of German, but on the other hand, Swiss German haven't written form. It's only oral traditional language. So it was a big challenge for us to collect data. It took us about 9 months last year to collect enough of data to train our system. But now we got it, yeah, and we are only company who provides Swiss German. Also, we have enrolled French and Italian. So now we cover all the Swiss languages, and we continuously improve this solution with a lot of dialects in Switzerland, and I think Speech is the company who provides the best solution for Switzerland because of language coverage. Yeah. As for next part of question, how we support security and privacy for private banking. I think there are a lot of use cases for private banks, and there are a lot of private banks in Switzerland. So, as I know now, the conversation between advisor and customer is not quite secure because it go through the telephone. We obviously can provide the solution of secure communication through the mobile app, using speaker verification and natural language processing, and even the conversation between customer and advisor, but with the speaker verification during this conversation. We have not supplied the payment solution, but I understand what do they ask about Swiss payment slip processing. There are orange slip and red slip in Switzerland, so we can provide the developers of mobile bank application solution with our SDK and make the payment process easy using the speaker verification and voice digital signature. We can make a voice digital signature on the payment slip and make this process easy. So we can send a couple of new slides of presentation in follow-up letters with this case for Switzerland Bank. Yeah, thank you very much. Hope it helps.
Okay, just a response to Vadim, your answer. When you said 100,000 contacts, did you mean per month? On when you said in terms of Martin?
Maybe I can comment on that. Seems to be like a little bit of misunderstanding. What Vadim mentioned was that for usual cases, for proof of concept, we need 60K records, audio records, to be analyzed and for the machine learning process to put through our systems to achieve relatively, I would say, high accuracy. The accuracy of our solution is agreed before we are starting the POC, the proof of concept, and at the end of the proof of concept we prove the accuracy. So either we are successful or we are not successful. We are not successful, what are the ways to improve? The accuracy, I can't tell you the exact number because it depends on the industry, it depends on the use case, but in general terms, we do not hesitate to say that the accuracy is better than human accuracy of answering contact centers. And the 100K, 60K is usually enough for the proof of concept. 100K is usually enough for production. It may be 80, maybe 120. It depends on the case, but we will be able to elaborate at the start of the proof of concept what are the requirements and what is the expected outcome. And usually the proof of concept can run 1 to 3 months depending on the scope and depending on the use case we are running. The requirements, the data accuracy, the data requirements for voice verification are different. And Vadim can say a few words about the requirements for...
Yeah. To be more clear about your questions, 100,000 thousands of audio samples need once, not per month. This is once to try our system before go to operations. Yeah, for speaker verification case, for starting, we need to try an UBM model, and we need the audio records of at least 3,000 of customers, 3,000 different customers, and we need at least 3 conversations of each customer, not less than 1 minute duration each. And after we train system on this amount of data, we can start with a new voice print enrollment and verification as well.
I'll just move you on because we've got only 4 minutes left. A couple of questions came in. What's the FINMA's opinion view on the technology with regards to considering voice biometrics as electronic signature?
I'm not sure, but as I understand this question, this all is the issue of the agreement between bank and customers. I think no special regulation. There is only one regulation specific in Switzerland that the voice biometric data, as well as all biometric data, should not cross the border of Switzerland. So only the regulation we know so far is not to bring this data out of Switzerland. All other issues is issues between customer and bank. As I know, if you know more, you can send a letter with more specific questions about FINMA regulation. We will try to figure out how we match these regulations.
And there is one other question about the voice biometrics. Where the voice prints are stored, how long does it take to verify a client?
Yeah, in the most case, voice biometric solution obviously deployed in-house, and the voice print will, in this case, voice print will be saved on the servers in bank's data center. For how long? Normally, it takes about 10 seconds. It needs 10 seconds of customer conversation to predict if customer is genuine or fraudster. And the latency between customers speak 10 seconds, and prediction is about 1 second. So in 11 seconds of customer conversation, we get the outcomes of verification.
And the verification runs continuously. So during the speech or the speaking process, the client or customer is verified constantly. So it's not one-off, but it's a constant process.
Gentlemen, can you assure me that you are not machines? And I hopefully our voice biometrics suggests that we are not fraudsters on this call. And I'd just like to thank Spitch, Martin, Vadim and Ravi for their time. If you do have any questions or further questions, please do email me. An on-demand copy of this presentation along with the slide deck will be available by the end of today, if not tomorrow morning. Thank you very much for your time today and have a good day.